My name is Kyle Phillips from San Diego, California, and played football at UCLA and going into year 3 with the Tennessee Titans. What brought me to B Project is my first NFL game. First play, my welcome to the NFL moment is I caught a punt return, returned it about 40 yards, and when I got tackled, I had a grade 3 AC separation, and right when it started feeling a little bit better, I ended up pulling my hamstring. So season's over and body's feeling real broken, and was trying a whole lot of just places around San Diego and didn't like too many of them, but my mom actually told me about B Project, and body started feeling good, and haven't looked back ever since.
On Kyle's first session at B Project, his main concern was his hamstring. We want to know kind of like the current status of that hamstring. What are the steps we're going to take to kind of get it back on track, kind of get it back to 100%. But there's kind of a secondary thing that, you know, is really important to kind of my evaluation process. I want to know what the rest of the leg is doing. Each piece of the leg is playing into the overall mechanics of that leg, and the hamstring is just a piece of that. As I'm diving into my evaluation, I'm going to kind of like go from the toes all the way up through the hip and kind of check each piece along the way. One of the things that I noticed was that his hip joint had pinned itself and was not moving through the natural motion that I kind of expect from the hip joint. I want this joint not only to have quality of motion, but I also want to have a freedom to it. I'm going to use treatment techniques to release this hip. As it releases, I'm going to start to feel the quality of the motion. I'm going to feel the freedom of the hip come back. That's just part of the battle. I need to take kind of that treatment response and I need to take it out onto the gym floor, and I need to reactivate these muscles. JD is our movement specialist, and he's gonna kind of take over from there, and I have to give him as much information that I can, from things that Kyle has told me to things that I've treated, things that I've assessed throughout the leg, and kind of the current state of kind of like what I was able to achieve in my treatment process.
After going through an assessment with Kyle, we kind of found that we had some instability in the hip, which makes sense because Brad created more mobility in that hip, and now we have to learn how to control it, integrate it into the entire leg, and make sure that leg functions as a whole. We ended up finding that 2 exercises seemed to function the best for Kyle in terms of bringing out that instability of the hip and then making corrections. The first exercise we had was just kind of like a single leg hip hinge. So basically what I found when we were going through this motion, my goal for him was that he could hinge through this hip in this direction. Now, what we found was he would kind of hinge here, but he would also sort of like, it would lean out to the side pretty heavily. And what that's telling me is that when this leg is loaded, the outside portion of that hip isn't doing its job to stabilize that joint and kind of like drive him forward. The correction we made was just kind of making sure every time he went through this motion, we lined this hip completely up, and he had to like actively stabilize this hip. The other exercise we used was a single leg deadlift. Now, the purpose for that was to bring the knee and the ankle into the movement and make sure that when we do that, the hip still has like a nice active stability to it. So again, what we would kind of find is as we moved down in this position, he had this like outside lean, and that was just again kind of reiterating that we weren't quite stable in that hip. So our correction was to kind of like level out that pelvis, kind of line the hip up in relationship to the knee, and make sure as he kind of drove out of that deadlift position, everything stayed nice and lined up. Although we've made good progress up to this point with Kyle, you know, ultimately this is just the beginning. We want to be here for him and any of his physical goals moving forward.
I feel like the thing that sold me most on B Project is being on the table, and I felt like it was more of like a conversation and being told the why behind everything, and then also was like kind of next steps on what I can do to improve myself and the exercises I'm able to do. Moving forward, I see B Project being a major aspect of my life and just career. With football, your body is kind of everything. You got to be able to stay healthy to produce on the field, and that's something B Project's been able to help me do. Is when I do get dinged up, when I do get hurt, whether I'm here, come get worked on, or if I'm in Nashville, have them fly out and come help me, put me back together and be ready to play. B Project's gonna be there the rest of my career and probably the rest of my life.